6 tourist buses just pulled into the parking lot at the same time. And I am in a foot race with 200 strangers who are trying to go see animals who eat coffee beans and poop them out. That was not what I expected from the day. Hey PTO Maxer! I work a 9 to 5, so I can travel 5 to 9 weeks out of the year. And this channel is designed to give you everything you need to do the same. While my partner and I were researching things to do in Vietnam, one of the most popular was to try the world's most expensive coffee. After doing some research, we learned that Dalat was the best place for us to visit to try the famous Kopi Luwak. So we pulled up to Me Linh Coffee Gardens in Vietnam's Central Highlands, and I need to set the scene for you. This place is massive. We're talking sprawling gardens, a playground, a coffee museum, animal enclosures, viewing platforms. It's built for hundreds of people. But when we arrived, we were the only ones there. We're talking ghost town empty, tumbleweed energy. I half expected to hear a crow caw in the distance. But here's the thing, I wasn't here for the vibes. I was here for one of the most famous, most expensive, and most controversial cups of coffee on the planet. Okay, Kopi Luwak. Let's talk about it. Because this is one of those things where you hear the name and think fancy coffee, but then someone explains what it is to you and you go through like 4 different stages of emotion. Stage 1, curiosity. Kopi Luwak is made from coffee beans that have been eaten and then, how do I say this? Passed through the digestive system of an Asian palm civet. In Vietnam, they call them weasels, though technically they're civets, or small cat-like animals. Stage 2, confusion. So it's poop? The civets eat the ripest cherries. Their digestive systems break down the fruit, ferment the beans, and apparently change their entire flavor profile, making it smoother, less bitter, and more complex. When the beans come out the other end, farmers collect them, wash them, roast them, and then sell them for absurd amounts of money. In New York, a single cup of Kopi Luwak can run you $30 to $100 per cup. Stage 3. Fascination. That's wild, right? Animals are out here making gourmet coffee with their booty holes. Nature, you're nasty. Stage 4. The controversy. And I do want to address this because it matters. Wild-sourced Kopi Luwak, where civets eat coffee cherries naturally in the wild and farmers just collect what they find. Now that's one thing. One thing that tends to make it pretty expensive because it's a process a lot like hunting for truffles. But the demand for Kopi Luwak got so high that some producers started caging wild civets in tiny little cages and force-feeding them coffee cherries. And only coffee cherries. My stomach hurts just thinking about it. The conditions are often terrible. Animal welfare organizations have flagged it repeatedly, and it's a real ethical problem in the industry. Me Linh is a tourist farm, so I want to be transparent about that. The civets I saw were in enclosures, not in the wild, but they're given plenty of space to roam and they aren't forced to eat the cherries. They have a healthy and robust diet as evidenced by their waste. That said, I'm not here to tell you what to think about it. I just think that if you're going to go try this coffee, you should know the whole picture. And if you're looking for it back home, maybe look for certified wild source. Because look at these little fellas. How could you want to hurt them? Okay, with that said, I came here to try the coffee. So let's try the coffee. We walked up to the cafe, noticing that we are the only people in this entire complex, which by the way is massive. Before you're allowed in, you have to order, and the menu is overwhelming, but the employees are happy to guide you, often towards mocha, Kopi Luwak, M-O-K-A. So not the mocha with chocolate you might be thinking about. M-O-K-A is the strongest. But as a certified coffee noob, here are my receipts. I decided to go for the much more mild weasel cherry coffee. Regardless of what you choose, it'll run you about 180,000 Vietnamese dong, which is about $7, or about the price of an average latte in New York City, or about 3 to 7 times the amount of a coconut coffee, egg coffee, salt coffee, or really any specialty coffee you can find in Vietnam. I was pleasantly surprised that the price was not going to break the bank, and they accepted credit card, which is not a given in Vietnam, especially somewhere so remote. Then it was time to taste test. Okay, here it is. Weasel coffee, Kopi Luwak, the most expensive coffee in the world, made by, well, You know what it's made by. The first thing I noticed was that they served it with a glass of water on the side. I thought it was to water the coffee down, which would be a perfectly reasonable thing to assume. My boyfriend, however, had a different theory. He thought that the water was a way to filter more coffee, and they did in fact deliver it with a filter, come to think of it, which of course anyone who drinks coffee would know. After all, this is supposed to be an experience for a real coffee lover, not a dump cream in it and chug sort of situation, which is exactly what I did next. Look, I'm not a coffee purist. I tried it plain first, and this is my honest take. That is strong. I like it. I'm just surprised. I've never tasted anything quite like it before. It was genuinely really good. Like, surprisingly good. It was not bitter at all, which is normally my problem with black coffee. There was almost a sweetness to it naturally, a softness. Listen, I don't know how to describe coffee flavors because I'm not a sommelier. I gave it a respectful 30 seconds of being a sophisticated coffee taster before I reached for the condensed milk. I'm glad I put the condensed milk in. Honestly, I'm gonna go first. I do not like it that strong, which is why I got the cherry. I think that'll be about perfect for me. If not, they gave me the water too, so I can make it a little bit more of an Americano situation. That hits. I am a woman who knows herself. Sorry, not sorry. That's just who I am as a person. Now, with the condensed milk, outstanding. 10 out of 10. Would drink from the steaming back door of an animal again. After the coffee, we figured we'd walk over to the food court and check out the situation. And the food court said no. Closed. Everything was closed, which tracks because we were literally the only human beings on this property. The only mystery was why? I was starting to wonder if this place was even open or if we had just dreamt it all. Because the campus was huge, back rooms huge, and full of...
There's dogs? Question mark.
Coffee grinding and growing area. Maze of miniatures. Fire phoenix.
Yeah, it was right out of a fever dream. We even stumbled upon...
Folk games area.
Adult playground. We'd just wandered in when it happened. Out of nowhere, about 5 tourist buses pulled into the parking lot in a span of about 3 minutes.
Wow, there's like 5 buses that just rolled up.
The ghost town was about to become Times Square. Now, I had a decision to make. We had not yet seen the weasels. We had not yet seen the coffee museum. We had not yet explored any of the grounds. And approximately 200 tourists were about to flood every single path, enclosure, and photo op in this entire garden. So I did what any reasonable person would do. I speed ran the playground. And then I collected myself to pass through the pit of tourists, also known as the cafe where we started. Careful to keep it casual, nonchalant, so as to not alert them that I had one purpose and one purpose alone. Beat them to the weasel enclosures before they could form a line in front of them. I did not come to Vietnam so that I could look at the back of someone's head while they stare at a sleeping civet. Not today. We battled our way through the coffee trees, which bore their fruit for us, to get to the real gem of Me Linh Gardens. We made it to the enclosure and was locked. So we did what any reasonable person would do and walked all the way around the entire enclosure to look for the precious babies who were nowhere to be found because they're sleeping. Every single one of them just absolutely knocked out. Sleepy boys. Not a care in the world. No idea that I just ran a 4-minute mile to come see them. I mean, fair enough. If my entire job is eating fruit and napping, I'd be asleep too. Living the dream, honestly. These animals have a better work-life balance than I do, and I'm the one with a PTO strategy. Next to the enclosures, there's a whole museum exhibit showing exactly how the Kopi Luwak process works. From the civet eating the cherry to the collection, the washing, the drying, the roasting. It honestly was really well done and filled in a lot of the gaps from my earlier research. And by research, I do mean scrolling through TikTok. After the main attractions, we decided to explore the rest of the property. I'd read somewhere that there were cats and dogs nearby, and I am physiologically incapable of knowing that there are cute little animals nearby and not going to see it, especially when I'm away from my cat for too long. So we went on a hunt. We did not find the cats and dogs. Hell, we didn't even find a path to the cats and dogs, just a service road beneath a raised walkway. What we did find was a bamboo ladder. There was a bamboo ladder leading up to, honestly, I'm not sure what. The walkway to the rescues, a path back to the cafe, someone's treehouse? I'm not sure, but it was there, and I am a person who climbs things when they present themselves. So up we went. This place is also a working garden, and there was weird fruit growing everywhere that I could not correctly identify. I think these are cucumbers. They're growing on trees though, which I don't think cucumbers do, but they look like cucumbers. So either these are cucumbers that are defying the laws of agriculture, or I don't know what a cucumber looks like. Now, avocados. These I'm pretty confident about. Avocados grow on trees, and these look like avocados, and I'm choosing to believe because after all, according to our map, we were supposed to be in the avocado farm and getting closer to the cats and dogs. But that doesn't explain this giant, spiky, slightly threatening fruit that I think is either jackfruit or durian. I genuinely do not know the difference. I do know that one of them smells bad and the other one doesn't, but I was not about to get close enough to find out. At some point during our botanical investigation, we got lost. Like, genuinely turned around. The paths in this garden are not exactly well marked after you get past the main areas, and I found myself in a section that I am pretty sure was not intended for visitors. You could hear dogs in the distance, but there was no path, no hope, just us, some unidentified fruit, and the distant sounds of 200 tourists having a much more structured experience than us. So we gave up. I'm not proud of it, but the cats and dogs won. We walked back through the now packed main area, the exact paths I had sprinted through earlier in silence, and they were shoulder to shoulder with people. The cafe had a line. The weasel enclosure had swarms of sweaty people closing in. The food court was still closed, so at least I didn't miss anything there. So, Me Linh Coffee Garden, was it worth the stop? Honestly, yeah, the coffee was legitimately good. Not just good for poop coffee, actually good. The grounds are beautiful, even when it's a ghost town. Maybe especially when it's a ghost town. And the chaos of the tourist buses turning it into Temple Run was more fun than I, an adult, would like to admit. Now, would I go back? Probably not. I've seen it, but I'm glad that I went once, and I'm really glad that I beat those buses to the weasels. If you want to see more from this Vietnam trip, I spent 3 weeks here and filmed the whole thing. The full series is coming soon to my channel, and if you want to see how I stayed in a 5-star hotel in Hanoi for $-, yes, you heard that right, negative money, that video is right here. With that, I'm off to write my next out of office message. See you on the next one.